औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम क़ाल अल्लाहु तआला फ़ी कलामिहिल मजीद व रफ़अना लका ज़िक्रक। खैमा अफलाक का इस्तादा इसी नाम से है, नब्ज़ हस्ती तपशा मादा इसी नाम से है। My dear brothers and sisters, by sunset this evening, it's about this evening sometime around 6:30 or so, inshallah 12th Rabiul Awwal will start, and at this masjid here we are holding a program for Mawludun Nabi, mashallah. For these few minutes before we call azan for Salatul Jummah, I thought it appropriate to briefly say a little something about the personality of our beloved Prophet, whom we are going to honor this evening and whose birthday we will inshallah celebrate. आज चूँकि रबीउल अव्वल आने वाली है, शाम को शुरू हो जाएगा 12 रबीउल अव्वल, मैंने मौजू और मुनासिब समझा कि मैं इस हवाले से एक बुनियादी गुफ्तगू कर दूँ अहले ईमान के सामने। अगर यही गुफ्तगू मुझे नॉन बिलीवर्स के सामने करनी होती तो मैं दूसरे उन्वानात चुनता, दूसरी बात करता। जो लोग दायरा इस्लाम के अंदर हैं उनके लिए गुफ्तगू का अंदाज़ जो है उसी हिसाब से होना चाहिए, ताकि उनके ईमान का तो कोई मसला नहीं। यहाँ पर सिर्फ हुजूर पाक की शान के हवाले से गुफ्तगू होगी। तो जो छोटा सा मैंने पोर्शन आयत करीमा का आपके सामने तलावत फरमाया है, तलावत किया है, वरफ़अना लका ज़िक्रक। Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that for your sake, O my beloved Prophet, I have elevated your remembrance, your zikr amongst my creation. So you will be remembered in a very high esteemed way throughout the rest of the time. Now, let us remind ourselves that our beloved Prophet was sent as the final messenger at a time when humanity had developed to the point that they could read and write and preserve their writing. Prior to that, the paper and the ability to record things did not exist. So now, when human family was evolved to a point where message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as given through Jibreel alayhi salam to the prophets was preserved, and whatever our beloved Prophet did or said, most of it, as people heard him or saw him do things, recorded all of that, and those records are available. So there is one beautiful quality of the message of our beloved Prophet, that most of his actions and most of his sayings are preserved for us to guide us through our lives. And this is one explanation or one kind of a manifestation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's statement that, oh my beloved, I have elevated your remembrance. So as long as people are around, people who believe, that his name will always be alongside the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, just like azans we call 5 times a day minimum, and for Jummah we have 2 azans, so that makes it 6 azans. And then if you imagine across the globe, there is not a single moment when azan is not being called, because time varies across the globe, and the different time for prayers in different regions of the world, people are calling azan, and his name is remembered all the time. Also, his is the name that is the most popular name given to the children. So people, those who believe, like to have Muhammad as part of the name of their children. That's one more way. The other way of remembrance of our beloved Prophet is, there are so many Hufaz-e-Quran, people who have memorized Quran, and they recite it and they recite it repeatedly. And this way also his name is remembered. But most importantly, people believe in the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that came to us through our beloved Prophet. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala का कलाम पाक जो हुजूर के तवस्सुल से हमारे पास आया, उस कलाम पाक के बायस हुजूर पाक का नाम जो हमेशा के लिए ज़िंदा है। उसी कलाम पाक के अंदर अल्लाह सुबहाना व तआला कहते हैं कि ओ मेरे महबूब, आपका हर आइंदा लम्हा पिछले लम्हे से बेहतर होगा। तो हमने आपकी शान को इतना बुलंद कर दिया है आपकी खातिर कि आपका हर आने वाला लम्हा जो है पिछले लम्हे से बेहतर होगा। और उसकी मिसाल हम देख रहे हैं। वी सी दैट एग्जाम्पल of our beloved Prophet's glorification. Every next day, his status goes higher and higher compared to the day before. And obviously, he is the most beloved and close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has been given the title of Rahmatul lil Alameen, mercy for the entire not only mankind, entire universe, both the worlds, the world here and the world hereafter, and all the creation and the universes, some that we may not even be able to know right now, what other creations exist elsewhere in the galaxies and the stars and in this universe. We only know the planet Earth and maybe a few things around it, but the galaxies and galaxies are out there for us to explore, for us to know that the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala existed before this. The little verse that I recited in Urdu was Khema Aflaq ka istada isi naam se hai, और नब्ज़ हस्ती तपशा मादा इसी नाम से है. Mentioning about our beloved Prophet Iqbal, when he says some verses in Jawab Shikwa, he basically finishes that Jawab Shikwa with some of these lines in praise of our beloved Prophet. If you remember, Iqbal wrote a shikwa or a complaint to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in 1910, around that time, 112 years ago, in which he complained to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are the believers, we are your servants, we remember you, we do so much worship, and yet we are downtrodden, we have been defeated. Ottoman Empire at that time was in bad shape, and Second World War was about to start. And Iqbal could see the things, the way they were evolving. And he was complaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that why have you forsaken us? So he wrote a shikwa. And then, of course, people with the shallow knowledge like me at that time started to raise their fingers against Iqbal, saying that how come you dare to say something against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or address him that way? It's disrespectful and all. And he was fairly quiet, although he was very much affected by the response that he saw. He expected people to understand. But most of us do not understand poetry, and most of us do not really comprehend the message underneath. Then he wrote Jawab Shikwa a couple of years later, in which he responded on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, addressing Iqbal and the Muslim Ummah. And in that, at the final verses, Iqbal says, as if he is speaking for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said this that I recited before. And when he was praising our beloved Prophet, he says, Ho na ye phool, to bulbul ka tarannum bhi na ho. Chamane dahr mein kaliyu ka tabassum bhi na ho. Ye na saki ho, to phir main bhi na ho, khum bhi na ho. Baz mein tauheed bhi दुनिया में हो, तुम भी न हो, और खैमा अफलाक का इस्तादा इसी नाम से है, नब्ज़ हस्ती तपशा मादा इसी नाम से है. And then at the final verse he says, कि मोहम्मद से वफ़ात तूने तो हम तेरे हैं, ये जहान चीज़ है क्या, लौह कलम तेरे. Simply translating it to you for in simple Urdu and then simple English, he says that if this flower, which is the being of our beloved Prophet, हो ना ये फूल, अगर हुजूर पाक ना होते तो बुलबुल का तरन्नुम भी ना हो, then all this enchantment in the world that you have, the beautiful things that are happening around you, these would not have existed. चमन दहर में, in the garden of this world, दहर is called, दुनिया को दहर कहते हैं, चमन बाग को कहते हैं, चमन दहर में कलियों को तबस्सुम भी ना हो. This smiling kind of a thing that you get when you look at these little buds of flowers, they seem to be as if they are happy and smiling. This would not exist. In other words, all this color and all this variety that you have in this world right now would not have existed. ये ना साकी हो तो फिर मैं भी ना हो, तुम भी ना हो. If he was not the one that gave you this message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you wouldn't have this message and you wouldn't have this deliverance process that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used. Gabriel coming down to our beloved prophet and giving you the message that you can have a life. So he says all of this was done for our beloved prophet. Of course, those of us who know the hadith Qudsi, when we are told that all of this was created for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the sake of, our beloved prophet, but more also for the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to be known. All other creation could not introduce Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It had to be human beings who mentioned his name, and then other creations started to realize. Otherwise, people just would see things and would not know that they're the creator. So this is how Iqbal responds to the complaint that he made to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we are told at the end that Ki Muhammad se wafat tune, to hum tere. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says that if you are loyal to my beloved prophet Muhammad, then I am yours. अगर आपने हुजूर पाक से वफा की, उनके पैगामात को आपने दिल में उतार लिया, पहचान लिया, उनकी हस्ती को, उनकी ज़ात को अगर आपने अच्छी तरह पहचान लिया और उनकी इत्तिबा की, जो उन्होंने कहा उसको आपने बिला चूहो चुरा मान लिया, तो फिर हम तेरे दिन फिर ये है कि खुदा की हर चीज़ जो है तुम्हारे हाथ में आ जाएगी. ये जहाँ चीज़ क्या है, क्या ये आगे पीछे जो देख रहे हो तो कुछ भी नहीं है. लौह कलम तेरे, लौह तख्ती को कहते हैं जिसके ऊपर कुछ लिखा जाए, कलम है जिस चीज़ से लिखा जाए, तो हर चीज़ आपके इख्तियार में आ जाती है. ये है इंसान का रुतबा. तो अगर आपने अल्लाह रब्बुल इज़्ज़त को पहचान लिया, उसके आखिरी पैगंबर को पहचान लिया, उनकी बात को मान लिया और उनकी इत्तिबा की और उसमें कोई आपने शक की गुंजाइश आपने दिल के अंदर न छोड़ी, तो फिर आपका मर्तबा ये हो जाता है, ये जहाँ चीज़ है क्या, लौह कलम तेरे. If your submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and acceptance of the message of the final messenger comes to a level where you really have no doubt there is a creator, that he has a system of messengers that came, brought his message, and this is for the betterment of humanity, then you will realize that all this creation was made for you. The sun comes out for you so that you can see things, you can have and grow things, then you will eat and have sustenance. You will have rain and water that you will be able to drink. The moon is there to reflect the light of the sun so that you have brighter light, night later vision so that you can walk if you have to walk and travel when you have to travel. You have all this greenery around you so that you can enjoy from the fruits of many of the fruit trees, and your cattle that you have to consume for your sustenance will have some fodder to eat, something to eat. So all of this is created so that human beings have a life here that can be for a finite time. एक ख़ास मुद्दत के लिए इंसान यहाँ पे है, अपना काम करे, पैगाम को रिसीव करे, अपने दिल को ज़िंदा कर दे, अपने दिल को बीना बना ले. तो जो आप दिल की नज़रों से फिर आप इस दुनिया को देखें तो फिर जो है आपको पूरी चीज़ें इस तरह से नज़र आएंगी जिस तरह के क्रिएटर ने दिखाने के लिए बनाई थी. तो फिर आपके लिए रुतबा ये हो जाता है कि आप जिस पाँव से चलते हैं और लगता है कि वो आपके क्रिएटर के पाँव हैं, जिस हाथ से टच करते हैं, महसूस करते हैं, ऐसा लगता है कि उसी के हाथ है, क्योंकि वो उसने अपना काम आपके ज़रिए से करवाना है. जज़ाकुमुल्लाहु खैर. अस्सलामु अलैकुम.